How's it going? Just Friday night. This is what I do. I hang out in my Captain America shirt, my Captain America compression shirt. I feel myself and draw cartoons. So check your copy, girl. Ugh. Yeah, things are going pretty good today. And I want to caution everybody: when things are going good, don't ever think to yourself, "Well, the other shoe's gonna drop. It's gonna get bad." No, everything works out in balances, okay? You have to have bad times so you can appreciate good times. Appreciate the good times. Don't ever think to yourself you don't deserve it. It needs to end. You do deserve it. Everybody deserves it. Everybody deserves good times, good things, and they deserve to be surrounded by good people. And I am in the wrong folder entirely. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. You guys already know that I'm working on the Hellpug and Velocicock book for the Hellbringers card line, so not a big surprise there. I've put it on my social media, Mark's put it out, he's giving you guys a glance at one of the covers. Where am I? Oh yeah, that's right, working on Beep Boop. Manalix. There is one thing that you guys should know about this, in addition to the fact that if you'd care to download the three, what the heck did I, oh, I must have done something. If you want to download the three strips that I've already done in their completion, in their entirety, you just go to that web address, the https mavericksrogues.weebly.com. You'll be able to download not only the strips that I've worked on, but I think there's also, I think Alex also put up an entire book. From what he was telling me, my mic is echoing. Oh, you know what I think that is? I think that, I think it's one of the settings I have for this. Audio capture. I only have you, so I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna try and adjust the settings for this opening stinger. Monitor and output crossfade. Is that what I'm using? Oh wow, is it not showing up? That's super cool. Okay, so I can go in and I can edit it while I'm looking at it. So yeah, you guys, if anybody else is watching besides Doug also, when is my OnlyFans launching? Well, I have to let the hair grow back in because I got it shaved into a specific shape. And once it's kind of blossomed, then I will start my OnlyFans. Actually, I've been considering it, but not in the porn sense. I've been considering it in the sense that it might be an alternative to like a Patreon. So I could I'll discuss it with you, but I think it might be a target your demographic. I think honestly the OnlyFans I think would be an alternative, but I think it's a good marketing idea, which I can discuss with you at another time. So scene uses which transition override is set to opening stinger. Opening stinger. Check out the properties. It has a crossfade, and it has monitor only. So I think I had it set to monitor before. Okay, how about now? Is it echoey now, Doug? I know what it is. It's because of the It's in the properties. It's one of the ways that I have the sound set up. Audio input capture. I think that's it. Microwave or microphone. It's better. Okay, yeah, so that's what it is. I only have 3 people. Yeah, I'm using OBS. The stingers that I downloaded, when I set up the audio, I set it up for audio and audio output. So, like, the monitor that I'm using and whatever the output is. So, I can understand why it was echoing, but I fixed it. I just have to take that setting off. So, now, on with the show. You guys can download the comics if you'd like from mavericksrogues.weebly.com. And I don't know if you've seen any of the other shows, but this thing has legs. Oh, I'm on the JPEG. Okay. Yeah, this strip, it's going places. From what I've been told, Daniel Pacina, who was Johnny Cage in the original Mortal Kombat movie, is involved with this strip. Shortly, you guys will see. I don't want to give too much away. I've shown the character design a couple of shows ago. You can go and check that out. And the strip itself gets translated into different languages. And it's being distributed in different countries, which impressed me. Because Alex, who's the writer, I know that he's Puerto Rican, and not that that's a frame of reference. It's not like a racial thing, but I know that he's Puerto Rican. So I had asked him, like, "Hey, man, are you translating these into Spanish?" He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "You have no idea. Puerto Rican kids love martial arts stuff like this." And he was telling me that he has this translated into Spanish so that it can be distributed in Chile, Chile, Puerto Rico, and another place. It's another country, but I forgot. That's going to be a big blast effect, and I'm just going to go scribbly right now. But I'll be inking this in a few minutes. So, yeah, this little strip that I thought I was handling. No strips are little. Sorry, the camera's there, and I keep addressing my phone. No strips are little. So, the strip that I was working on, I thought was small, and it turns out it's got international appeal. It has an actor involved, and for those of you that don't know, Daniel Pacina is kind of a badass. Like, he's one of those sleeping giant Dark Horse guys. And when I say Dark Horse, I'm not referring to the publishing company that did like Aliens versus Predator and a whole host of like other good books. I'm talking about like the one you wouldn't expect. Like that meaning of the word of the Dark Horse thing. He yeah, he's a nice guy, but you can tell when you look at his martial arts stance and you look at his hands, he's seen some stuff. You don't get broken knuckles like that from just standing there and looking pretty in front of a camera. You don't get fingers all knotted up like that, looking like, pieces of wood from just standing around getting manicured. Manicures don't go on your knuckles. They go getting manicures. Still, you can look in his face and you can see he's a great guy. And I have not met him, but I would love to. I would like to meet him. Shoot. do some forearm magic here. Do this. Because there's a little pad that goes over the knuckles. Okay. So you might not remember from the last strip. However, when Green Horomos was fighting Manalix, he let loose with like this blast of energy that kind of knocked him to his knees, and now he's getting up. And this is the rally portion of the fight where our hero regains his strength. Picture like 1980s WWF at the time, not WWE. It was WWF. But this is the point in the wrestling match where Hogan puts his hand up and he's got that one finger and he starts going like this. This is that moment. This is that page. So you start hearing in your head, I am a real American, and start going crazy. Start listening for the crowd to cheer me on while I'm inking this page. So, am I on some sort of amphetamine or something? What's wrong with me? I don't think there's anything wrong with me, per se. Okay, so let me refer to page 3. And I want to see the effect. That's what I did. Okay, so it's supposed to be like fire, almost. Yes, okay. That's what it's supposed to do. So I'll do the same thing. Like a dragon, but in a sword. Because that's what dragons do. They use swords. Even though they really are mythical. I mean, I would assume. I've never met one. If I did meet one, I'd want to be friends with it. I don't want to be friends with a dragon for. I mean, I'm sure they're lonely. I'm sure that they're cantankerous. They're cold-blooded. If they're real, they probably live in like warm weather climates. They're all full of fire. And they'd be like, I don't want to live in the cold. I'm a dragon. It would probably put them to sleep more so than a regular lizard. They'd have all that gold. They'd be like, ooh, yeah, they're probably in the Caribbean with all that pirate treasure. Pirate treasure? Do you eat paint chips as a kid? Alright, refer to page 3. Page 3 has some swoops and some embers flying off. Good old 1970s Marvel style. There we go. Okay. What the what? I'm really enjoying doing this because it helps me. It like flexes a bunch of my artistic muscles. And it's like, I don't typically do stuff like this, but I love the ability to try my hand at it and test out what I can do. Because I have this philosophy that stand-up comedians, actually, like really good stand-up comedians, make for magnificent dramatic actors. Robin Williams, Bob Odenkirk, what's his name there? David Cross. Um, just, people that you wouldn't expect. There, okay, so he's gonna. Okay, there it is. There's this buckle. So yeah, being that I'm kind of like a goofy cartoonist, I love the ability to be able to. Oh, yeah. Not that I'm anywhere on this guy's level, but I would love to be. I don't know if you guys know who Bob Camp is. Oh, Bob Camp is one of the guys who single-handedly saved Ren and Stimpy in the 90s. And just oh, so what he does is he can draw dramatic comics, and he has. I think he's worked on like Conan. I know he's worked on The Nam, which was a really great Vietnam era book, and the guy worked on Ren and Stimpy. And if you ever see him at a convention, he just whips out like really great sketches, sometimes with marker. Just he's amazing, and I would love to be like that. And doing stuff like this will help me get there. It's just practice is really what it is. It's not a question of magic. It's not a question of meeting a dragon in the Caribbean, and then the dragon gives you a wish. Although, anybody know a dragon? Put in a good word for me. It's hard work. It's practice. It's not. I mean, if you do what you love, is it really hard work? It's a question of motivation, really. Oh, that's wrong. Drop the point signs. There we go. I need it to look like flourish, like it's like you can feel it burning at the same time you can see it moving. And I think I can do that. What did I use before? Was it like wet something or other, right? Oh, that's okay. So it's this. There we go. Wet Chet. Dry. I drop this brush size and I'll do something like this. Zoom out a little bit. And make yourself blind. It's like when you sit too close to the television. Incidentally, that never happened. Like, you never got blind from sitting too close to the television. It would probably hurt your eyes, but you don't see it as ruining your eyes. It was just really an excuse for your parents to yell at you. Not me. My parents. Your parents never yelled at me. At least I don't think. Who's watching? Just my wife. My parents never yelled at me. Ugh, I don't like the way that looks. So when I had him blasting last time, using his sword, I had his hair kind of flaring out. Like that. That's good. want it to look like one of those like 80s manga. Actually, what I have stuck in my head is something along the lines of like heavy metal. Not the music style, but the animated movie. Great, and I'm gonna have that music stuck in my head. Not that that's bad, but okay. Put your head on straight. Pay attention. Do this right. That's what I'm talking about right there. Oh no! What am I doing? Remember, he's got that ear that's jacked up on that side. What are you doing? Pay attention. Attention to detail. Used to have this drill sergeant, guy by the name of Ben Madeira. This little Hawaiian guy. This was back when I was in basic training in Fort Knox, Kentucky, circa 1994. Yup, I'm old. Ben Madeira was the smallest drill sergeant we had. And he was just like this little Polynesian looking dude, but you could tell he was a surfer. He had like that laid back, really cool Don Ho attitude. And if I could compare him to anybody, I would compare him to like Woj Howitz from the old Barney Miller show. And see, that's how old I am. I'm making references that you do not get. Anyway, Drill Sergeant Madeira was a great guy. And he would just, he's one of those guys he's like, just chill. Just totally chill. And then he would just drop you. Just make you do push-ups till you puked on that Kentucky summer concrete. He had no problem doing it. And he didn't express any anger. He didn't express any sorrow. He was just like, you put yourself there, private. But he would, there's one thing he always said that stuck with me. Anytime I say it, I hear his voice in my head, and I'll sometimes catch myself saying it. Attention to detail. Can't stress it enough. But he would say that, and there's something else he would say. He would say, attention to detail. Can't stress it enough, privates. Attention to detail. And then there was another thing. He would show up in the morning to our exercise. They call it PT. You'd have to do that stuff in the morning, and it would be really early. Sometimes when the sun's not up. And he would show up a couple minutes late, and he'd be like, sorry, privates, that ice house got me last night. He would say that, and then he'd call us to attention and march us off and get us going. Sorry, privates, that ice house got me last night. Platoon, attention. And then he would call us in a direction. And then we would just go. And we'd go running, or we'd go march to where we were going to do our PT. That's good times, man. You hated it when you were a kid. You're like, I'd rather be playing Super Nintendo right now. But as an adult, you're like, this is fun. Mickey! I just looked up and I saw that Mickey and 3 others are watching. I don't know who the third one is, but I know that Mickey is one and Autumn is the other. Autumn being my wife, not the season. Although they are spelled the same. hope you're enjoying the show. Is there anything I can do to entertain you? I can sing some old monkey songs. Oh, that line right there, and this little one here. I think if I just do that, that'll work out just fine. So, I just have one. Okay. So let me ask, what would you guys be interested in seeing? Like, what would you be interested in seeing me draw? Because honestly, what I'm doing now is I'm using this as a forum for me to build a community as well as get some work done. And I want to make sure that the people who watch are content. And one of the things that I'm learning I should do is surveys, like marketing surveys, and do marketing surveys to find out what people want so that I can supply them with it. Well, not supply them with it. That sounds like I'm a gun runner or something, drug dealer. Although, statue got me high. That's an old They Might Be Giants song. If Mickey's on, she can attest to that. That's kind of why I sung it. Because back when I started getting into They Might Be Giants, Mickey was around. We would listen to that stuff forever. And then Weezer came around, and Bush, and Nirvana, and Pantera, which was a great concert. Oop, I gotta make the hair look hair-like. The more chaotic I can make it look, I feel as though the better off I'll be. Because if it's annoying a little bit, if it's visually annoying, I feel as though when people look at it, they'll be like, wow, everything lines up really well, except it annoys me subconsciously, so I don't like this guy. Even though the artwork looks good, the villain is not my favorite. That's what I want. Yes, look at that. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. I was supposed to finish this last night, but I didn't because I was hungry. If anybody's wondering, I had sausage last night. Insert joke here. I had some spicy Italian sausage that was in my refrigerator that needed to get cooked up before it went bad. I'm not a big fan of wasting food. So we had some roasted potatoes and some peas. Simple, man. I like simple things. I don't need crazy dishes from Cordon Bleu Academy. I can just eat a cheese sandwich. No, I can't. I can't eat just a cheese sandwich. I know you can, love. But I don't think we have shredded cheese, but I don't think we have actual cheese. But if you want, I will go get some. One thing for you, my dear.
That's not an act. I'm not saying that because I'm on camera. I do it all the time. Okay, so he's down here like this. He's turned this way, back to the camera. Okay. So go like this. Messed up ear is on this side of the panel. Real ear is on that side of the panel. So when I do this, there we go. Right? Ta-da! Oh, yeah, that's right. It's his ear. So, in this part of the strip, I do believe our villain is getting jacked up. He's getting cut. And there are a bunch of insulting cuts that Alex is giving him. And you may ask yourself, what do you mean by insulting cuts? The feudal samurai believed in focusing on everything. Everything was a focus. Everything was an art form. That's why when people tell me that they don't like eating sushi, I kind of remind them that it was an art form that samurai had to practice in order to make sushi. Cutting the fish, shaping the rice, putting it in the little bamboo mat and doing all that. It was an art form. So almost everything the samurai did was an art form. Even sword fighting. If you were to cut an opponent in certain spots or wound them in certain ways, it meant certain things. Sometimes it meant that you lacked skill and it was an insult. Sometimes it was meant to show you that they were being aggressive. And this is kind of historically known. How historically known? You ever heard of Star Wars? They use it there. What is that on? Oh, yeah. That's right. Ugh. Okay. What am I going to do? I'm going to clean it up at some point. I'll clean it up. Just not now. Where are my blood spatters at? What? So does anybody remember what we did last night with these? We used the ink splats, because right now those marching ants, that dotted line that's moving around that panel, that is the selection tool. And I have that panel screened off. It's masked off. And this spatter brush is only going to be inside that selected area. The only way it will be on the outside is if I invert my selection. And the way to do that is to hit Control, Shift, and I. That's a quick key. Or you go up to Select, see the invert selected area, you turn the selection outward. So what this is going to do, let's give us some spatter effects. Well, that looks gross. I know. And then, if you remember last night what we did, it's around G, there we go, grossified. And one of the great things about working on different layers is that I can make a mess. because I'm going to have to clean it up anyway. It's like when you have a tarp on the floor and you're like, I'm just going to throw chocolate down here, and don't ever do that. Chocolate's yummy. So, see this here? How I have all that gore. Enlarge the brush size. First of all, I'll shut off the sketch layer. Oh, okay. I was completely on the wrong layer for that. I'm sitting here running my mouth, and I'm not on the right layer. I'm talking about how, yeah, it's great, because you don't have to make a mess, and I'm cleaning it up, and don't spill chocolate on the floor. And pay a little more attention, instead of trying to entertain everybody there, Don Rickles. Okay, now, focus, Danielson. I'm wait for my memory to catch up here. Now, so being that I'm on a separate layer, okay, it allows me the opportunity to use the layers behind it, the layers below it, as a mask, as a screen, if you will. So I can use them as a guide. Oh, don't go beyond this point, because that's the edge. I'm going to show you what I mean in a second here. Do you know how I have all those action lines there? I'm going to have to clean that stuff up too. Because the vision I have in my head is the original red one. What the hell? The vision I have in my head, everything exists on its own plane, and you wouldn't see those action lines running into the hair. And create a problem. So this is what I mean when I was saying that being on a separate layer, yada yada yada. Because they work like plastic, see-through plastic. They work like animation cells, almost. See? Clean. Now it looks like the blood is in front and the spatter's going that way. And that's the effect that I wanted. Now these action lines, I'm going to shut this off. Okay, so that is going to tell me what's inked and what is not inked. Okay, go to action lines, just start erasing this stuff. And this is the stuff that kind of frustrates me, but also at the same time excites me, because, oh man, you know, I gotta do this, but I have to also pay attention to what I'm doing. I have to make sure that I'm not making the same mistakes twice. You guys ready for convention season? It's coming back. Is everybody going to their favorite conventions? I know I plan on it. For anybody that is not watching near me, I live in New Hampshire. I'm not from New Hampshire. I'm from Rhode Island. I'm from Providence, Rhode Island. A lot of people come from Providence, Rhode Island. It's got an intense American history that very much everybody in America overlooks and makes fun of because Rhode Island's about this big, which, you know, it is. And you'd be right. But my local convention is Granite State Comic Con. And it's run by the guys at Double Midnight Comics and Collectibles. And they're really great guys. I've been going there since they opened, I want to say 18, 19 years ago. So they've announced that they, wait a second, what am I doing? Yep, thought so. They've announced that they're going to run Granite Con this year. So I'm pretty excited because with all of the COVID stuff going on, conventions getting canceled, it's really taken away from my ability to socialize, my ability to sell artwork, and see my friends, meet the public, grow my following. Art Balthazar is what? Oh my god. Dude. Okay, so you guys might not know who Art Balthazar is. He is an amazing cartoonist. He's really great. If you ever see Art, Art's the one at conventions that is dressed really well. He's incredibly stylish. And he always does sketches for the kids with crayons. Awesome. And they're not like little, hey, I'm going to do the Captain Bob, draw a sea trout, and here you go. They're like colorful sketches that look really awesome. He is a member of Oh Yeah Comics, and he does a lot of really great DC books. I think he does Tiny Titans. I know he does Patrick the Wolf Boy because that's in my signed book collection. If it's not up on that wall, it's in the stack that I have to get a frame for. Him and Franco both are really good. And Scott McMahon, Scoop. Really great group of guys. And the fact that he's watching is like, it's mind-blowing to me. A guy like that watching me make cartoons. I'm really like, that's awesome. Okay, I gotta take a breath. I'm gonna keep working, but I gotta calm myself down because I'm doing my little nerd boy thing where I'm like, ee. So this is what I was telling you guys. In my head, I had this vision that, see the lines there? The action lines that are kind of highlighting what's going on with the blood, which the whole thing sounds kind of gross, but you know, whatever. With those accent lines going in, they create, it almost breaks the sense that this stuff isn't going on in a three-dimensional sense, you know. I mean, you could do it. You could leave those action lines in, and it wouldn't look bad if you did a little color hold. Honestly, I've got some inks on there that I was inking digitally on the wrong layer. And if you ever see that meme on the internet about the artist seeing that he's inking on the wrong layer, it's true. Ugh, it is not fun. You're like, I did a bunch of great inks. And then you take a look and you're like, I'm on the wrong layer. That is a bunch of work that I absolutely messed up on. And there are ways to fix it, such as doing it all over again, but no, just no. Part of me working digitally is that I'm lazy. That's not to say that people who work digitally are lazy. That's to say that I'm lazy. And that's why I'm doing this. What? Oh, Ed, don't say that about yourself. I have an issue with my real traditional inks when I'm on paper and I'm using brush pens. Like my line work, my confidence lines aren't that strong. They're shaky, and I go over them a couple times. I wind up messing things up. Digital has given me the opportunity to make better. Okay, what's your question? Even though you're sitting on the other side of the room.
No, but I want everybody else to hear the same question.
What's your question? I would love to hear your question or read your question. Biggest fan I ever have. If you draw something on the wrong layer, why can't you copy and paste and move it to the correct layer? You can, but you run the risk of selecting either inside or outside what it is you're trying to copy and paste. The selection tool on Clip Studio Paint is not as precise as it is in Photoshop. Photoshop is really precise, and you can make sure that you can clone things in Photoshop, and you just do a bunch of different stuff that you can't do in Clip Studio Paint. But the reason why you wouldn't copy and paste is just because you're going to wind up erasing the things that you made a mistake with anyway. Wouldn't it be safer to make it outside so you can just erase instead of having to add stuff? Well, when you expand your selection area, you're going to pull bits of the stuff that you don't want. So you're going to wind up just erasing things anyway. It's one of those, honestly, it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't things. You're going to have to either pay attention or you're going to have to pay attention. The best bet is really just to do it right in the first place. What happened to making a mess and erasing it anyways? That's what this is. I'm making a mess and I'm erasing it anyway. Just gonna make a mess and erase it anyway. I hate when you pay attention to what I'm saying. I mean, I love it, but I hate it at the same time because it always comes to bite me in the butt. Oh, I love you too, my love. Best wife ever. Wow, is it really 6:52?
Mm-hmm.
Dude. I am just a dumpster fire. I told everybody I was going to finish this page tonight. What's that? Well, I appreciate that, but we gotta get us fed. And I don't want to be sucking up bandwidth all night. Plus, I have to work on the Hellbringer stuff. if you haven't guessed by now, that's my NDA project that you guys can't see pages for, even though you know I'm working on it. It's gonna look so good. So let me clean this up. I'm trying to clean it up as fast as I can. Action lines. Do action lines. It's going to be funny is when I flatten the whole thing and everything merges together. What? Then why are you erasing? Why are you making sure everything's on its own layer? Because when you combine them, the effects sometimes don't stay. It just makes it tough. Doing the right thing here, folks. Trying to. This is just a very embarrassing and costing me a bunch of time. That's the type of mistake it is. It's like when you spill ketchup on your white shirt. You're like, it's not really the end of the world, but it is embarrassing, and I am going to have to wipe this up so it doesn't stick. The stain doesn't set. Look at me go. You know what I think I should do? I think at some point I should watch some of these videos just to see what it looks like when I'm drawing, like how things look on screen. Because to me, they have this perspective, like they just, I look at them and I'm like, oh, look at all the mistakes. And I just kind of focus on them. But when I see my work, sometimes it's like, wow, that actually doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. You know, it's almost like I'm beating myself up, and I really shouldn't. And I feel like if I go and blood spatter, I feel like if I go and watch these videos, I might beat myself up less. I mean, anything's possible, right? What? Okay. Action lines will go above inks. Inks are at 44%. We'll bring that to there. That's not a good look. So we're going to bring action lines below inks. Come on. Like that. That's what we want. So inks merge down to action lines. Action lines will be renamed as inks. That does that. Deselect. Look at how pretty is that? Oh, that's pretty. Come on, let's turn on sketch layer. Where are we going with this? I thought I was going to do something with this panel here. Allows me to select that panel. Whoop. What do we do? Action lines, or do we do halftones? Let's do halftones. I haven't messed around with halftones in a minute now. Actually, let's do something like that. Mouth Pride. Almost pretty good, right? Take the erase tool, make it bigger. Go in here. We'll go to inks. We'll go from erase tool to pen tool. And put some ink lines in there. It's funny, every time I see the screen shift to my right, my eye just has my subconscious assuming that someone has messaged me. And just look right to it. Ooh. And all it is me moving it around, moving the screen around. Shut the sketch layer off, see how it looks. Oh, that looks gorgeous. I am such a fan. I'm really liking Ed Smith's work lately. Big fan of it. Alright. So, we've got all the stuff with green Hiroma stone. So I think I'd like to do is 6:59. I would like to maybe knock out. How? Is it okay if I give it another half hour? Awesome. Okay. So I'm gonna run till 7:30, and I'm gonna see how many of these panels I can knock out with Manalix in them. Okay. I'm not gonna switch colors. I'm gonna stay with black, which at 37% on the sketch layer, it's gonna come out as like a gray. Halftones, we can drop those down really low. Blood spatter, we can shut that off completely. Got inks, panels, halftones, flats. Flats are going to go under all that stuff. Okay, so let's go to sketch. Let's do our thing. Pen and pencil, we're on erase. Let's do pencil. Now he's kind of hurt. Right? In this panel, he's getting up. So the anatomy's there. We got this. And his shoulder, but I think his shoulder needs to be slumped more. Down to that. And then maybe his arm bowed out a little more. Yeah, I totally, when I was a kid, read How to Draw the Marvel Way. And there was stuff that I took from it, you know, and I didn't really understand it at the time. Because I was just a little kid. And I was like, this is what Jack Kirby says. This is what Stan Lee told me to do. But what I didn't understand was what they're doing is they're doing like a lot of great camera positioning, and they also do a lot of good character acting, and that's not something that I picked up on until I started paying attention to Disney, especially with Frank and Ollie. When I saw that documentary, my mind was blown. Wait, what? I can just move the hands or make him stand a certain way, and this guy is gonna look like what? And sure enough, that's what happened. Started paying more attention to my positioning, to my character acting, and it's gotten lots better. I've had tons of practice, but it's gotten lots better. And that's why you'll hear me refer to the Disney Cartoonist Toolkit, because there's a lot of stuff in there that works in conjunction with comics, mostly because that's what it's about. It's about, you know, Disney's comic strips, but it works with positioning characters and doing what I'm doing, which is graphic storytelling. And it does a really good job. It does such a great job. Started talking to one of my friends earlier today and showing them something that I was working on, and I was explaining how I have a hard time doing this, and they were like, you know what helped me was this Preston Blair animation book. And I was like, what? And they told me all about it. It was like one of the, it's almost like a Summer's Eve commercial. I'm not feeling so fresh when it comes to drawing my cartoons. You know what works for me? Preston Blair. Did I just subconsciously call Preston Blair a douche? No, he was a great guy. He was a great guy. I did not at all. He was a great animator. I never met him personally, never read stories about him. I was just making a horrible joke. Mr. Blair got caught in the crossfire. Sorry about that, sir. You are a legend. Anyway, I found a spot where I could get the books, and I downloaded them. And I haven't checked into them yet, but I'm going to. I'm going to check into them, and it's going to help me design characters a little better. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's odd how much I've grown as an artist over the past year or so. I've not only gotten better, I've actually begun to care a lot more about what I'm doing. I've begun to understand the whys of things that I do, and I've begun to learn more about the hows, which is important. I've always held a personal belief that you can tell somebody how to do things, but unless they know why, they're just not going to do it effectively. And I was right. Because for the longest time, I knew how. You know, I knew, hey, this goes here. And don't push too hard on the pen because line weights and things of that nature. And just didn't help me out. And when I started to understand the whys, that was when things worked out more for me. Look at that. Ugh. Brush on the eraser is too large. I think it was Frankie last night that said he wanted to see me draw Alex because he likes the way I draw him. No, Frankie's not here. Hope whatever he's doing is more fun than this. Nothing could be more fun than drawing comics. If Facebook wouldn't kick me out, I would have music on. I'd be singing along like I normally do. Boop. We'd be having all sorts of fun. I know I usually do. When I'm drawing comics, I'm usually, like I said, listening to music, making jokes, having a good time. when my friends are around and we do it. Oh God, it's insane. There's usually like movies on. As a matter of fact, yesterday I was watching. Someone was having a watching party on Facebook. I don't know if you've ever seen those. It's usually somebody posts a movie, everybody watches it. So somebody was having a watching party for the old 1940s Captain America serials. And I don't think you guys remember that, but there's a guy who was not Steve Rogers that was Captain America in these things. His name is Grant Gardner, and he was, I think, the local DA, and he didn't have a super soldier serum in him. He didn't even have a shield. He just had a gun in the Captain America costume. So essentially, he was the district attorney that was sick of taking people's crap, and he ran around solving crimes in a Captain America costume. You know what they call that nowadays? Psychotic. What is wrong with you? Why would you run around with a gun in a Captain America costume? He'd come after you with a butterfly net and a taser. 1940s, though, he was a patriot. What? I'm watching episodes, he's throwing people out the window. Like, what? What a hell of an American finishing move is that? That was Grant Gardner, by the way, not Steve Rogers. I don't think Steve Rogers would have done that. The Cap I know and love. Geez, the Cap I know and love was easily interchangeable with that guy from The Losers, that other guy from Scott Pilgrim, and Johnny Storm from Fantastic Four. Yeah, that's the Captain America that I know and love. Yeah. I'm referring to Chris Evans. However, Captain America, I knew. He's an ex-football player. He was on a couple of episodes of MASH. He was on Three's Company. His name was Reb, and he was a big guy. This guy, if you ever meet him in person, he's still a big guy. He's just a wicked sweetheart, too. He's a really great guy. Reb Stewart, I think his name is. Used to be a football player. Oh, look at that. That's good. That's good. Whoop. Oh. So I try to make this a thing, stream at about 6 o'clock until 7. Tonight it caught me until 7:30 because I'm one of those rare birds that tries to stay true to his word. Wasn't always like that. I was a rude little man when I was younger. Well, I mean, not little per se. I mean, I wasn't short. But I was rude. Anyway, try to stay true to my word. And I told people tonight that I was going to do my best to. Oh man. Okay, it's a follicle. That's what I did wrong. So I told people tonight that I was going to finish this page. And although I did finish the Green Haromos stuff, I did not finish the Manelic stuff. Okay. It's pretty interesting. I can erase on either side and just create like a little border. So visually it kind of breaks the plane. And there you go. If I were inking this traditionally, I would use like a white pen to break that. I would use white out. So I gotta make sure that those lines don't intersect. And when you zoom back, let me turn off sketch. When you zoom back, it creates this illusion of depth almost. Sketch. Okay. Is that an orange? No, that's bad. Do this. Just got that thing here. Do this. That's the inside, right? It's on the inside, so you wouldn't see it there. Doing a whole thing. Look at that. That's pretty. Now let's do a hand. You do a hand. You tell me what to do. You're not the boss of me. You know who I like watching draw? Mike Oeming. That's another guy that I like watching. I've met him a couple times at conventions. He's another guy that's pretty cool. And he is most notable for his work on Powers, which was great. But he is inspirational as well, because he draws in like a style that doesn't really use all the details, and it's very blocky and relies a lot on color, and it relies a lot on lights versus darks, like color or light and shadows. So it's a lot of stuff that Mike can teach me that I'm looking forward to learning. Just by watching him. It isn't like he's giving me classes, right? I don't want anybody to get the wrong impression and go over to Mr. Oeming's house and be like, do you know Ed Smith? You said you're teaching stuff. You teach me. Let's zoom back. Let's zoom back. Now, if we remember, he fell out of the sky. He's missing his sword. Was it right hand? Did I have him with the right hand? He had it in his right hand. So he's... Oh, I put the sword on the wrong side. I kind of figured I would have. So how about we just erase it? Because if it's on the other side, it's in his hair. We can't see that. I want to draw just a little bit so nobody can see it. Oh, I gotta draw it. Man, if I didn't draw it, I would have just been like, why didn't you draw it? You just kind of cheaped out and didn't do what you should have. Think about the leg position. How do we draw the lower half? So give me time to think about what I want to do with the upper half. Oops. Zoom in. Give myself a little bit of a like that. Yup. See, the thing about this is when you zoom out, like this is all pixel. But when you zoom out, it's going to look different. It's going to look lots different. What was I? I was at almost 300 times the size, or the original size. That's a weird looking leg, but you know what? He's just getting to his feet. He's a little shaky. Oh. There's that panel. Let's pull out the sketch, see what happens. Oh goodness, that is pretty. Up the halftone. Right. Let's go to halftone. Okay, so I'm going to erase and I'm going to clean this up behind. Could go in with the lasso tool and just select all of that stuff, but I'd have to draw around it, and just wouldn't, it would be like a real tedious thing for me to do. What? Are you saying that drawing is tedious? No. What I'm saying is the selection tool. When you use the lasso, you have to go in and you have to draw. And you have to be precise. Otherwise, it's going to just select whatever. And it's easier for me to just go in and swipe like this with the brush. See? Like that. What? That is not looking too shabby. That's that. Look at that. Zoom back out. Oh, let's get this right here. Okay. Take that halftone, throw it to 100%. And that's how it looks. Just zero out the page. Looks pretty good to me. Looks okay. And turn on sketch. See what's the guts. He pulls out his sword and he's ready to go. And then he jumps into battle right there. Which is going to be just so killer. Did I put anything on? I did not. Oh, this is going to be fun. Halftime. Look how pretty that looks. It looks so dramatic. I'm going to drop off the sketch so you guys can see it. Look at that. That's dramatics. I love that it makes my work look good. I love that doing these digital strips just hides my flaws. I love that doing these digital strips really hides all the mistakes I make. I'm just a hack being propped up by magic, scientific magic. Oh, that was good. I can't wait to color it. I can't wait to color it. Okay. I think I'm good. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock off for the night. I'm going to thank everybody for watching. And as usual, I'm going to pick up on Monday, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And, dude, thanks. Thanks for watching. You guys make me feel like a superstar when you watch. Have a good night. And have a good weekend. See you.